Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome into the Bucknuts Morning Spot here on Monday, July 27th, 2015. I am Dave Biddle, and I am joined by Steve Helwagen. Steve, Michigan State has pulled their scholarship offer of commitment to Gavin Cupp. He is an offensive tackle from Ohio, from Leipzig, Ohio. I had to look it up to see where Leipzig, Ohio was. It's in northwest Ohio, kind of in that Bowling Green, Toledo area up near there. And this young man had been committed to Michigan State for a while. And he came down to Friday Night Lights and did pretty well at Friday Night Lights. I guess he didn't have permission from Mark D'Antonio to come to Friday Night Lights because D'Antonio pulled the scholarship offer. What do you make of this? Is D'Antonio overreacting, or is he doing what he should do?
Yeah, I like Mark D'Antonio a lot, but this seems awfully heavy-handed to me. If they could reaffirm the commitment that Cupp made, I don't understand why they don't stick with him. He's a very good player. I don't know that Ohio State has or will offer him. In some regards, they've taken so many offensive linemen here over the last year or two that there may not be room for one in this class. I mean, they may take another one, but it would probably be a national top 50, 100 type player, and Cupp is probably in the top 300. I don't know, something like that. Not to say anything good, bad, or indifferent about him in terms of how good he is, but I just think that this is a little heavy-handed by D'Antonio. Kind of sends a chilling effect to kids, and you know, do you want to play for a guy who wants to jerk you off, or the first time you do something like this? I don't think it's abnormal for Cupp to want to come to a football camp and get some hands-on training from one of the top offensive line coaches in the country, Ed Warner. He didn't have an Ohio State offer, so I don't know. It just seems, as I said, just a little too much, I think. D'Antonio, in some regards, he's always got to play the card that we're looking up at somebody. It used to be Michigan, and they've dominated them lately, and now, obviously, it's Ohio State after losing to the Buckeyes last season. I mean, he's got a real sore spot. I mean, obviously, for Ohio State, and those two schools are going to battle probably for the division championship for years to come, and I don't know. He just is taking a real hard line here and doesn't seem to be making much sense with it.
Yeah, my take, Steve, is if Gavin Cupp was a 4 or a 5-star recruit, there is no way in hell that Mark D'Antonio would have pulled his scholarship offer. He sees a kid that's a 3-star recruit, ranked, not highly ranked at all, number 48 offensive tackle in the country, number 555 overall prospect in the nation, according to the 24/7 Sports Composite. I think D'Antonio is looking at this kid as a 3-star and feels he can do it. I think there's no way that he would have the same stance if this kid was ranked as a 4-star or a 5-star. But we'll see what happens with Gavin Cupp. Maybe he'll end up in Ohio State's class. Maybe he'll end up back in Michigan State's class. Maybe he'll end up somewhere else. We will keep you posted. Another big guy that was at Friday Night Lights, an even bigger guy, but both in stature and ranking, Antwuan Jackson, defensive tackle from Ellenwood, Georgia, 6'2", 290 pounds, made the trip up. And not only did he make the trip up, he made the trip up with his father, Steve. And he told our Bill Kurlick he and his father, quote, loved it at Friday Night Lights. Now, he didn't commit, so I think some people were disappointed by that. But Bill Kurlick said there was really no chance that he was going to commit, that the visit went as well as it could have went for Ohio State. And looks like a 2-horse race between the Buckeyes and Auburn. I think having Raekwon McMillan and Von Bell and other prominent players from the state of Georgia really helps Ohio State here, plus having Larry Johnson and Urban Meyer and everything else. What's your feeling with Antwuan Jackson? Normally I would favor Auburn when you're talking about a kid from the South, but I tend to think the Buckeyes have a good shot here. What's your take, Steve?
Yeah, I definitely think Ohio State is in a good position with Antwuan Jackson. I like what I see and continue to hear from him. I think that he is a guy, obviously, that could be a cornerstone-type player in this class. I mean, he's national top 50. He's ranked 45 overall, number 8 defensive tackle in the country. And really, I mean, you think about a guy to hold the point of attack like a Bennett, that type of player. Perhaps Antwuan Jackson could be that kind of guy. I just think that, again, you do swim upstream a little bit going against the SEC schools for a Georgia kid. Auburn is right there. South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia have all offered him, Clemson as well. So he's got his choice of where he wants to play. It's just a matter now of him deciding what he sees. I think that there are different opinions that have come out on him, whether it could be Georgia, whether it would be Auburn, whether it be Ohio State, wherever it is. But I think the Buckeyes and Larry Johnson, and you talk about this defensive line class that they're assembling, with Jonathan Cooper, Terrell Hall. I mean, it's a dynamite class, and maybe what they need is that defensive tackle in the middle to anchor things. I'm pretty excited to see where this is headed with this class for 2016.
Switching gears to Braxton Miller, he came out last week and said he's switching positions, told Sports Illustrated that Pete Thamel broke the story. And then Urban Meyer came out and said, hold your horses here. No official decision has been made. No final decision has been made. And some people were like, oh, see, Braxton's still there's a chance he'll play quarterback. What's your take on this, Steve? Do you think there's still a chance Braxton's going to play quarterback, or do you think that ship has sailed?
I think there's a very slight chance. I think that he is probably looking at his future and understanding that throwing the football is probably not how he's going to make his money going forward, particularly with the question about his shoulder. He'd have to be, tremendously better, I guess, throwing the football than he was before the injury, and that's kind of a good question to ask whether that's even possible. So, yeah, I think that Braxton is going to put his athletic ability to use in other ways. He could mix right in at the H-back position if you figure that Jalen Marshall is now going to rep more as a true wide receiver at the I think it's the X or the Y or whatever they call it. But I think I would have to say that I think that there will be some plays per game where he will take a snap, call it a direct snap, and run the zone read, or just keep it himself, or they'll find ways to get it to him on throwbacks or whatever, that he can get involved running and probably even throwing a little bit for the Buckeyes this season. But it just seems like the handwriting is on the wall, and he's accepted it, that his future is at a position other than quarterback, whether it's running back or wide receiver or whatever it may be at the NFL level. I think he's got to start thinking about his future. And I think it fits into Ohio State's framework. I mean, they obviously have Barrett and Jones there. And I want to make a comment just really quickly. Watching all of those guys interact at the Friday Night Lights, I didn't see a lot of Miller with Jones and Barrett, but you saw a lot of Jones and Barrett hanging out together, having conversations, animated conversations, as if they are two brothers who are, not really competitors against one another. They're good friends, and I think that is what people are looking forward to, seeing a way for these guys to compete for the betterment of Ohio State, and that's what it looks like it'll be here over the next 6 weeks.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because that was evident at Friday Night Lights. Cardale Jones and J.T. Barrett hung out almost the entire time. They're joking around with each other. Even guys that are going to be in the program in future years, like Danny Clark, came over, and they're kind of like joking around with him and kind of boxing him out and kind of, messing around with him a little bit. Kind of the old guys kind of messing around with the young guy and kind of playing some jokes on him and just getting along. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Barrett and Jones stole Joe Burrow's shoes at one point and threw them over against the railing. So poor Joe.
Yes.
Then Torrance Gibson got involved a little bit and was messing around. But, yeah, it was interesting, I'll say that, to watch the dynamic between all of those guys. They just seem like they are all in it together to do big things, and I just think that it's going to be a positive thing for the Buckeyes coming forward.
I'll say this. I think the ship has sailed on Braxton Miller playing quarterback. All these, I just think Urban Meyer doesn't want to tip his hand. He doesn't want to announce it until he's ready to announce it. It's Urban Meyer's decision. He knows what's going to happen, and he's known for months what's going to happen. I think now the cat is out of the bag. Keep in mind, it was Braxton telling Sports Illustrated. This wasn't like Sports Illustrated had said they had some unnamed source that Braxton's moving. No, Braxton Miller was the source. They quoted Braxton in the story. And here's what Urban Meyer told the Columbus Dispatch. This is what people are taking this quote saying, oh, see, Braxton still might be a quarterback. Here's the quote, Urban reacting to Braxton telling Sports Illustrated he's moving positions. Quote, I have not made those decisions yet, Meyer said. quote, it's a little bit jumping the gun here. Braxton came to see me. He's been talking about it. We've been working at it, but I'm not ready to say exactly how we're going to use him yet, end quote. Okay, translation, he's definitely moving. That's my take on it. It's going to be J.T. Barrett or Cardale Jones. Like Steve said, Braxton might take some wildcat quarterback snaps. That's not the same thing as actually playing quarterback. It's going to be J.T. or Cardale, and I think it's a good thing for the Buckeyes.
I think Court is having some buyer's remorse with this Ohio State beat writer from Sports Illustrated, Pete Thamel, who is embedded with the program like nobody else, I think. I mean, he was with him on the selection day for the playoff last year and has routinely had a lot of good insight. He had the Cardale Jones gigantic feature in Sports Illustrated after the Wisconsin game of all the different trials and tribulations that kid's been through. I would think that they put him with Braxton Miller to tell his story for the first time, and maybe Braxton kind of strayed off the reservation a little bit and said some things that he wasn't supposed to say, and now Urban's trying to walk it back a little bit and keep all options open, which only makes sense. I mean, if one of those guys or both those guys gets hurt or something happens, Braxton Miller would be playing quarterback. I mean, there's no doubt about that. They're not going to go down to Jalen Marshall, and they're not going to waste Torrance Gibson or Joe Burrow. You know, if the
what about Stephen Collier? What about Stephen Collier, Steve?
Yeah, he's right there too. So, yeah, it's interesting to think about it. The dynamics. I can't see a scenario where Burrow plays at all this season. And Gibson, if he does play, it would have to be at another skill position because there's just no snaps available for one of those young guys this year.
All right, final topic. Your book has been out a while now, a few weeks. Tell the listeners how they can buy the book. It's called Undisputed Champions. I know everybody's loving this book, which doesn't surprise me at all. I knew you would knock this out of the park. Tell the listeners a little bit about the book. Tell them where they can buy the book. Yep,
it's 132 pages, full color, but mostly it's where there were picture books out about the championship after it happened. This book is more of the story of how it all unfolded and goes back even several years to where Urban Meyer took over the Ohio State program, the great highs that they had there in his first and second years, then the great lows when they finally lost a game or two there with Michigan State and Clemson, and obviously everything they went through during the 2014 season with the Miller injury and the loss to Virginia Tech and everything, all the adversity they faced all the way through, and upset victories at the end over Wisconsin, Alabama, and Oregon. Everything about that season. This will be a great keepsake, a great Christmas gift for anybody who's got a Buckeye fan. Just go on Bucknuts.com and put in a search for Undisputed Champions, and it'll pop right up and give you all the ordering information. You can order single copies online for $22.95, which includes postage. Or if you want to send us a check, we will do 5 copies for $90, and that'll help you take care of all the Buckeye fans on your list, birthdays, whatever, just to celebrate the return of football. I think it would be kind of cool to pass that around to your friends and just let them see what really transpired, I guess, last year and made it such a special season for the Buckeyes to go all the way. Go on Bucknuts.com. Type in the search Undisputed Champions, and you'll find all the information there.
Great stuff out of author Steve Helwagen. Thank you very much, Steve. And thanks to the listeners out there. Appreciate you guys tuning into the show. Hope you all have a great day. Take it away, best damn band in the land.